Tom Brake.
Mr. Weir. And could I just start by congratulating my honourable friend, the member for Cambridge, for securing this debate and setting out succinctly many of the challenges the coalition government faces in both reining in the budget, but also seeking to minimise the impact on those reliant on legal aid. I think what is not in dispute today is that budget reductions need to be made. And when the MOJ's budget consists principally of staffing costs, prisons or legal aid, there aren't many areas where the government can go to identify these savings. And I think also it's true to say that a number of organisations that I have met, and I'm sure other members have met, have confirmed that in their view there is the potential for savings, and indeed the Law Society and others have set out ways in which these could be achieved. I'm not going to run over the growth in expenditure that there's been on legal aid in recent years. That is well known. And it is clear that the budget reductions are going to have an impact on many organisations. And the Minister, I don't know whether I doubt, and I don't think we would expect him to read all 5,000 submissions that have been received, but he may have read a sample of those. And I'm sure that he has held a very large number of meetings with a range of organisations and will have heard the main concerns. And I thank him for meeting me with my local CAB and the national CAB to hear their concerns about some of the proposals. In the limited time that's available, I just wanted to restrict my comments to a couple of points. The issue of telephone advice, medical negligence, the impact assessment and also savings. Just on the issue of the telephone helpline, personally I think that telephone advice can play a key role and in fact may be accessible to people who currently don't feel able to access a face-to-face contact because they're put off by that in a way that perhaps they might not be in relation to a telephone contact. However, there remain many queries about how the telephone advice is going to work. Clearly there will be people, as other members have said, for whom telephone advice is not appropriate, and therefore I think a very clear pathway from perhaps an initial contact through to a referral, which is a face-to-face, I think will need to be provided through that service. How will urgent inquiries be dealt with? What is the referral process that is going to be used to make sure that the calls get passed through to the relevant organisation to deal with them? So if there's anything more that the Minister can do to flesh that out, I know that many organisations would be very interested to hear some more of the detail. Medical negligence is an area that, again, I'm sure many members have been lobbied about, and particularly the cases involving perhaps children who have been most seriously affected by medical negligence cases and how they can continue to be supported. And as an aside, the Minister may want to talk to health ministers about whether introducing a duty of candour, in other words, requiring health professionals to confirm when an accident has taken place, whether that could play a role in reducing the need for cases to go to court in the first place. In relation to family law, many other members have referred to that, and that's not a point that I'm going to touch on. The impact assessment. Now, the impact assessment confirms that proportionately the impact on the BME communities, women and low-income groups won't be disproportional because they are more represented in the group of people who receive legal advice or legal aid. I would hope, however, that the coalition government would want to try and redress that and not simply accept that that is the case, but still put more emphasis on ensuring that those groups were not proportionately affected by it because they are disproportionately represented in the people who receive legal aid presently. A number of members have referred to savings. My honourable friend did. The savings that can be derived through providing advice services. He quoted the figure of £1 of legal aid expenditure on housing advice saves £2.34. Employment advice saves £7.13. I hope that the Minister, if not now, but later on, will be able to provide some real analysis of the impact of the measures that we as a coalition government are proposing to ensure that we're not going to see the cost shunting that many people believe might arise as a result of these changes. Simply passing costs on to other government departments or other organisations is not going to be helpful. The final point that I would make is in relation to the proposals which my honourable friend referred to from the Law Society, and how those very concrete, detailed suggestions are going to be taken on board as part of this consultation process. The Minister, I'm sure, will also be aware of proposals, for instance, that Keir Starmer, the Director of Public Prosecutions, has put forward in terms of how costs could be saved in the wider legal arena. So those are the points I'm hoping the Minister will respond to. Clearly, the Government, quite rightly, have got to address the budget, but there are perhaps ways and means of doing this most effectively, and certainly the proposals that are on the table from a range of organisations about other ways of achieving that. I hope the Government are looking very carefully at them and will, where it's appropriate, take their proposals on board. Thank you.